So how to improve your self-image? So basically, a self-image is how you perceive yourself as. The other day I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's a book about improving your self-image in order to become successful in life. Now, something really struck out in the book that I read. It was a story about this kid who sucked at math, right? He perceived himself as someone who is not capable of doing math, as someone who is dumb at math. And because of that, he kept failing his math and lived up to that. But you see, once he changed his self-image and started perceiving himself as someone who's good at math, he started doing amazing in his class, and he actually achieved the highest honor roll in his class in math. He was a top student in there. And not only that, there's so many examples of people who perceives themselves as something, who perceived themselves as something bad, but when they changed the perspective, they became something good. Now, I think this is incredibly mind-blowing, because we're talking about like hypnotizing ourselves. You're talking about like the idea of being able to change who you are by just thinking about who you want to be. It is something incredible that we humans are born with, the ability to trick our mind, into thinking that we're something and that we're not. But when we trick our mind to think that we are something where we're not, it ends up becoming that thing, that ends up living to that thing. So you should perceive yourself as someone who is successful, someone who is worthy of being successful. And because of that, it will make you successful. Now, it is really mind-blowing. Like, I'm not even kidding, but your mind, if you just change the way you think, it's just the way you think. Like, you can change it and everything will, whole life change for you. I actually tried it myself. I had a bad habit of always constantly scrolling on social media and watching social media. Then I perceived myself as someone who is not, as someone who's successful, who doesn't watch social media. And to be honest, it was like, bam, I stopped watching social media and I stopped enjoying social media. So I just deleted all of it. It is mind-blowing when I'm telling you this, how we can trick our minds into thinking something and into living up to the thing we make it think about. Now, how do you even perceive yourself as something that's good? Basically, it's just you have to imagine yourself as something that's good. If you have to imagine yourself, imagine what you want to be. So how do you imagine yourself? How do you imagine what you want to be? First, you need to think of like examples, people you look up to, if successful people, entrepreneurs, or whatever. They have think about their self-image, right? Think of how they perceive themselves. Think of how they're perceived as by everyone else. And once you find out how they're perceived yourself as that, by closing your eyes and just imagining yourself being that person that's in the role, being that person that's doing what they're doing. And automatically that will flick a switch into your mind, and bam, you will become that person. Our human psychology is incredibly amazing, and we're the only beings that are capable of doing this. And honestly, this is a new trick to breaking any bad habit and to improving yourself as a person and getting successful. So if you enjoyed this, then make sure to hit a like. You know what? And your call to action for today will be think of yourself as someone who is successful already. Think of yourself as someone who deserves to be successful. Think of yourself as someone who is already successful. And as always, thank you.